Welcome to another episode of Fave 5 from Fans, where we explore all things favorite. I'm your host, I'm your super host, Jamie Ray, and today I have a super guest, first timer. I am bringing in Syphacon extraordinaire, mom, really, superwoman, Kristen Johnson, and we're going to talk about our favorite female superheroes. Hi, Kristen. Welcome to the Plastic Microphone Studios.
Hello.
You doing good? You look comfortable.
I am. I got my big comfy couch.
There you go. There you go. And then you got your Star Trek
I
mug
do.
there.
I
Yeah.
actually got this at a convention where I was representing Cyphicon. And it glows in the dark, but we're not going to test that theory out right now.
Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. Well, like you just said, we've met at a lot of cons. You are on the whole thing for SciFiCon that happens in April down in Lake Charles, but we've our paths have our paths have crossed many, many times.
It
So
has.
when we were at GalaxyCon, I think this is where we came up with this idea,
Mhm.
and now we're finally doing it. So thank you so much. So tell us a little bit about Kristen Johnson, not Kristen Bro.
Okay. So Kristen Johnson and Kristen Bro are separate because Johnson is what I started Cyphicon with. So, hey, my name is Kristen. I'm Kristen Johnson. It's a running joke with Cyphicon
Ah,
because there's two K Johnsons on staff. There's a
that's
Crystal Johnson and there's a Kristen Johnson. So to keep the running joke going, I'm still Hey Johnson.
uh
But I am married. I have four wonderful kids. I'm very well rounded in the nerd committee,
there
and
you
I'm the
go.
program director for Cyphicon.
That's
Pretty much
awesome.
rounds it up.
And I am so excited for this coming years. I've already put in my booth. I've already put in for two panels. So I'm just really, really excited for it.
This year is
But
going to be very, very different because we are swapping our direction of where we want to go this year to
ah,
kind of push back so we can push forward for our 15th, which is in 2 years.
okay. Well, we could talk a little bit about that after the break if you can give away any secrets. Um,
Yes, I can.
All right. But again, so the topic was female superheroes. You actually came to me in your Barbie outfit. Um, and I was like, oh my God, I love it so much. Um, and so we started talking, and this just came out because you do cosplay a lot.
I do.
Yeah.
Every
So,
convention I do at least one.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. And you do, I see, okay, obviously I've seen Barbie. Don't you do a Battlestar
Barbie,
Galactica?
Sylvie, Loki. No, I did a Sylvie. I didn't do a Battlestar Galactica. I just wore the vest for a picture.
Oh, okay.
Scarlet Witch, Dark Sith,
Oh,
Gwen Spider, Spider-Man.
you just got them all. I remember the Gwen Spider. That's the other one I remember. Yeah. Well, good. Well, all right. Well, if you're new to the show, what we do is I ask my lovely guest. Sometimes if it's Mark, they're not so lovely, and I say, I want you to come up with five of your favorite of these, and you have the option for two honorable mentions. Honorable mentions are something that just didn't quite make the list, or it had some reason that you just wanted to talk about it. So I think if you're ready, I'm ready. We can
Let's
jump
go.
right down. Do you have some honorable mentions?
I do. So whenever I came and talked to you at GalaxyCon, I told you I wanted to go a different route when it came to this whole podcast. I wanted to go based on my life. So my two honorable mentions are Wonder Woman from the DC Comics.
Mhm.
So she first appeared at All-Star Comic number 8, December 1941. And the creators were William Mouton Marson and H.G. Peter. Her traits are compassion, disciplined, fearless, and deeply moral.
Yeah.
A warrior with the heart of a peacemaker, which you kind of need that when you're mom. Fun fact, she has the lasso of truth inspired by a lie detector test. I wish I had one of those. You realize how much easier it would be with teenagers? Sorry.
Right?
Honorable UN ambassador for women's and girls, and crafted from clay and blessed by the gods.
That's right. That's right.
So why she's an honorable mention is because she's always been my ideal when it comes to strength, compassion, power with purpose. And I kind of inspired to be her when I was like way younger.
I know
You
lots
ready
of
for my
girls that
second one?
did. I'm ready. One quick thing. Did you know that Mouton was actually someone who worked with a lie detector? And that's where he
I mean,
brought the
that's pretty
idea
cool.
in? Yeah, yeah,
That
that's
is
cool.
pretty cool. When you think
So,
of Mouton, you think more of music.
yeah.
Like he writes more of classical music.
hmm Yeah, I always thought that was cool. There's a whole like documentary, I think, on Hulu about him because he had some other proclivities.
Mhm.
But anyway, that's great. So wonderful choice. I'm right there with you. What is your second honorable mention?
Rogue from the Marvel comics.
Ooh.
So yeah,
Ooh, I
she
got a
first
fun fact about her when you're ready.
okay. So she first appeared with the Avenger Annual number 10, so August 1981. That is my almost my husband's age.
Ah,
That's funny. Sorry. The creators were Chris Claremont and Michael Golden. Her traits are tough, confident, powerful, yet isolated due to her powers of absorption. The fun facts about her is she began as a villain with Mystique's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants,
hmm
absorbed Captain Marvel's powers permanently, and she's known for her southern charm and sugar catfish.
Yeah.
So why
Yes.
she's an honorable mention is she's captured in between the stage of growing up and putting herself first, while she still craves connection.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so I have a fun fact about her, as sponsored by Red Dog Terrain. A lot of people don't know this, but I'm a huge Rom the Space Knight fan, okay, which was a comic book based off of a toy. And in it, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants show up. And while Rom is fighting them, Rogue jumps on him to kiss him to absorb his power. Okay? But he's a big robot guy.
Mhm.
But instead of absorbing his power, because he's not a mutant, she kind of like gets a look behind the mask, the helmet, and see what a good person he is and what it's like to do things for other people. And a lot of people will say that's the moment that clicked the scales for Rogue
Sweet.
to start saying, I don't
Oh,
want to
that's
be an evil guy.
cool.
I don't want to be another one.
Hmm.
Yeah. Huge Rom fan. Huge, huge, huge. But those are so I love the fact you got so many facts. That's really cool.
Thank
You
you.
did that. You
I
did.
did my homework.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Well, I have two honorable mentions as well. And
Shoot
I'm
for it.
choosing my first honorable mention because she does it in a comic book. She's not on TV. She's not in movies, but she is a real life superhero. And I am talking about Dolly Parton.
Okay.
Okay. Now, she at 79, 80 years old, she may lack
I was
superpowers,
going to say she don't
but
look it.
no, but she performs heroic duties all the time. Since the
Mhm.
mid 80s, and I love this, she's championed against literacy with the Dollywood Foundation. And it's kind of it's one that gives free books every month to any kid from birth to kindergarten, and it has now served over 850,000 children in 1,600 communities in over 5 countries. And in 2018, she actually donated her 100 millionth book to the Library of Congress. And if that's not a hero, I don't know. And I love she's so beautiful, but from inside
Mhm.
as well. And she's so humble. It's just so if I want a young girl to look up to a superhero, she would definitely be one of them.
Did
So,
you ever go to her amusement park?
well, yes, I did. Rode the wooden
Coaster?
roller coaster, and
Hmm.
oh yeah, went to Dollywood, and we went back then. We went to Knott's Berry Farm, which I don't know if they're still in existence,
I
but
don't think that exists.
yeah, yeah, but it was cool too. But yeah, yeah, I love it. Um, So my other one is a comic book related person, and it is Black Canary. Okay, from
Oh,
DC.
you don't hear about her anymore.
Right. Well, she is a very powerful DC hero with ultrasonic like abilities that make her like she can like Banshee. She can cut and just um But one of the reasons that I like her so much is because she is able to balance being independent, a formidable vigilante, and Green Arrow's equal. And there for a while, and I think it goes on and on. She compliments Ollie by bringing her own like strategic, skills and also her emotional temperament. Um, Depending on who's writing it, Ollie can be a very staunch, forward-thinking person that doesn't want to, listen to others, and she always was able to get him to calm down and listen to reason. And I especially liked when she was in uh, when Mike Grell had rebooted their love affair was really central to the stories.
Mhm.
And so it's great that I mean you see like Superman
Yeah.
and Lois Lane and you see those kind of couples, but you don't see a lot of them fighting side by side. So that's the other reason I picked Black Canary. Plus, she's got a very cool costume. So those are my two honorable mentions. What do you think?
I actually love Black Canary because of just how different she is. There's
Mhm.
not a lot of superheroes based off of her. Like, yeah, they have similar powers with the sounds,
Yeah.
but she's based off of a bird. So,
Hmm.
hello.
Yeah. And she's been in Flash and
Mm-mm.
Legion or Legends of the Future or whatever that one's called.
You're
Um,
close.
yeah.
She's
What
been
is it?
part of Flash. She's been part of Smallville. She's been part of the Justice League spinoff series.
Uh-huh.
Um, the Arrow. She was in the
Oh,
Arrow
yeah.
too.
Yeah. And then she was in the one where they jump around time. I think that's her. It's either the White Canary or the Black Canary. But anyway, it's
Probably the
cool.
White Canary.
Yeah. All right. Well, those are our honorable mentions. I think you and I are ready. Look at all those notes. You and I are ready to get into our fifth favorite female superhero.
Right.
Take it
You
away.
ready for me?
I'm so ready.
So, like I said, I went off of like just the way I grew up and having each superhero represent a part of my life. So, my number five would be Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. That represents my childhood.
That is an awesome pick. I love that. I love
So, she,
Bubbles.
thank you. I do too. She reminds me of myself when I was a kid. Not now, though.
Right now?
Far
No?
from now. So, she first appeared in Won't Pass. Sorry, but it's literally what it's called. Won't Pass
Okay.
Stew.
Okay. Is that the first episode of
That was the
Powerpuff Girls?
first episode
That's
in
hilarious.
1992. It officially debuted in November of 1998. That's
Wow.
old. So the traits include being sweet, bubbly, underestimated, but secretly powerful. Fun facts is she speaks multiple languages, even squirrel. She's the emotional heart of her team. So the reason why she represents my childhood is she just reminds me that kindness and strength can coexist.
It's true. That's true. It's not a weakness to be nice. No. I love that. But I
And
will
I had
tell you, if I had
siblings.
to if I had to pick somebody from Powerpuff Girls, it would be the mayor's secretary. And I saw the coolest cosplay once, and it was just I guess it was a lady, couldn't tell. Um, Dressed up in the no, and here's why. Here's why. Dressed up, and you with the red and all of that stuff, but there was a black like box in the front of their face, so you could only see from like here down, just like in the TV where you never see their face. So I thought that was really cool. But no, that's an excellent girl. Powerpuff Girls, definitely a superhero. I like it. I like it. Okay, well, for my number five, I actually have a special guest in studio right now because my number five is Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. Thank you so much for joining us. Uh, oh, she's shy. She doesn't want me to talk, but I'll go ahead and tell you about her. Sue is fantastic because she's evolved from one of the most underestimated characters, just like you were talking with Bubbles, in all of Marvel's powerhouses. Um, if you really get into some of the stuff that she is able to do, if she puts her mind to it, there's almost no one that she couldn't defeat because she can get her little invisible force fields and put it up somebody's nose and like blow their head apart. And all of the different things I loved in the movies, the first two movies, where she had to be naked to be invisible
Mhm.
until Reed, makes that for me. So there's a whole thing that plus it was her emotions and she had to get that under check.
Mhm.
But when you look at the old like Jack Kirby, those comics, she was I don't want to say she was the weakest member, but her powers seemed the most, oh, great, she can become invisible. And then later on, they're like, oh, now, cool, she can make these things. And then later on, you realize that while each one of them in the Fantastic Four have their place, you've got the like the brain, you've got the hot head, you've got, the strength, but for her, it was her heart. And when she had the kids, it was all about it. And when Franklin came along and he had those cosmic altering powers, that was her baby, and she fought for her. Um, so I really liked her because she was pretty much an unshakable force in the Marvel universe.
Another thing to think about that, it's kind of the time zone that her character came about. Women were not appreciated. They were
No,
considered invisible.
that's true.
So it was a subtle jab towards females and then subtly bringing up in the world that, hey, they are powerful.
Yes, they are. And like I said, I've seen some like what ifs and some other things where that's what she does. She uses her power and just gets it in somebody and just, or I've seen where she uses her power to turn someone else's corneas invisible, and boom, now they can't see. And it's like,
Karma.
wow, that's really
Sorry.
great. Well, all right, Kristen, that was our number fives. Why don't you go ahead and lay your number four on me? Oh, bye,
So my
Sue.
number
Thanks for coming. Okay, bye. I'm sorry. She will say bye.
five.
Oh,
So
she's
number,
gone. You don't see. Oh, never
aw,
mind.
she'll remember me.
Yes.
So my number four would be Gamora, and she would represent my teenage years.
Oh, okay. Now she's
Oh
the
yeah,
green one from Guardians of the Galaxy.
correct.
Right. Okay.
She wasn't just from Guardians of the Galaxy either.
True. Yeah, she was Thanos' child, and she
Mm-hmm.
was okay. Where did she debut in Captain Marvel?
Stranger Tales.
Stranger Tales. Okay.
Actually, Stranger Tales number 180, and it was June 1975.
Oh, okay.
The creator of it, girl, I did my
Yes,
homework.
you did.
Was Jim, the creator of it was Jim Starlin, and her
Mhm.
traits are fierce, loyal, independent, and haunted by her past.
Yeah.
So the fun facts about her is she's the last of her species. I'm not going to try to pronounce this. Well, I'm going to try to pronounce this, but
Okay.
y'all can come after me later. Jean Warbies.
I think that's exactly how you say it.
And she was a Marvel debut in Guardian of the Galaxies in 2014, portrayed by Zoe
Zoe.
and Saldana. And the reason why she represents my teenage years is Gamora reflects strength, independence, and learning to trust again.
Yeah.
So I found out something really harsh in my teenage years, and it took me
Uh-huh.
forever to get trust and faith in the world again. So I was just like, I'm a Gamora.
There you go. I love that. And her character is fun.
Oh yeah.
She was in
I
like
actually
the,
did cosplay as her once, but I did it
did
for
you?
Halloween, and I might bring it out again.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
do all of the
Serene,
green
my
paint and everything?
yes, my little girl was
Wow.
Baby Groot, and I was Gamora, and we did it for Halloween. I
That
have a
is
picture of
fantastic.
it somewhere. And I was like, I think that's when I fell in love with cosplay. I was just like, oh, I'm pretty good at this. And then, like,
Yeah, you
I
are. I
started doing more.
love
So
them.
I might bring that one out again.
Well, good.
What about you?
Well, maybe you'll bring out my number four because it's old school cool. And I am talking about Jessica Drew as Spider Woman. Okay. I was reading Spider Woman when it first came out because this was like, it was so cool. Like, she wasn't a Spider Man clone, she was just Spider Woman. So she had like those venomous shots that she could shoot out at people. She had the little wings so she could glide. And then she had the whole back story of not knowing who she really was. Was she a Hydra agent? Was she a good person? Was she a bad person? And I really, really enjoyed it. Um, I remember reading them. I still have a bunch of them. As a matter of fact, issue 50, I have a small collection of photo covers, which they used to do like in the 80s and 90s. And it's got all of the villains, and they're all in costumes, like she's hanging on a wall. So, absolutely love it. So, her complex moral journey from the Hydra manipulation and the High Evolutionary, which shows up later in one of the Guardian movies, if I'm
Universe.
not mistaken.
Mhm.
Um, and then she like takes all of that, and then she just like creates her home. And one of the cool things about the story is there was a lot of like horror elements in the comics of like the 70s and the 80s. So for example, there was a whole big storyline where Morgan Le Fay from Arthurian times was here in the present trying to take over our world, and Merlin comes forward and makes her like the Arthur's champion. And then there's another one where there's a guy who, and this is one of my favorite stories, where this guy could not die, but she had so much empathy and sympathy for him that he could die if someone gave up their own life with him. Don't understand why it is, but that was the curse. So they tied each other together to a chair, like two chairs back to back, and threw themselves out of a window, like down to crash into the thing. And right at the last moment, she cuts out and glides out, and the guy smashes down, and he's able to finally die and not roam the world anymore. And I just they were kind of interesting. Carmine Infantino was doing a lot of the art back then. He's got that really angular arc. And so it just for me it just kind of gave you kind of a different feel than from what a lot of the comics were doing at the time. And then of course she went on and she had her own cartoon in the 80s, I think. It was very, very important in it was one of those huge Marvel crossovers. It was the one with the scrolls. And I think Jarvis may have stolen her baby because he was a scroll or something. So anyway, good, good stuff.
You know
Love
what's
it. Or maybe
really
that's Jessica
funny?
Jones. I
You
don't
know
know.
what's really funny?
What is?
I know exactly what you're talking about though.
Yeah.
Like I know what comic you're referring to. I know what you're talking about when you come to the spin-offs because my dad and I used to watch those.
Oh, that's awesome.
My dad actually gave me my first comic book.
No, really.
It
What
was,
was it?
yes, it was the Scarlet Witch.
Uh,
Unfortunately, it got destroyed in the hurricane, but
mm.
it was one of the original Scarlet Witches.
Is that like from when they were doing the miniseries?
Hmm.
Oh, that's good stuff. I
UT9.
used to love those Marvel 4 issue miniseries.
Oh yeah, I
The,
loved them too.
yeah, it was
Now
just great.
I have an X-Men comic book. I don't remember which one it is because I refuse to look at it and read it because I want to keep it up, and it's
Okay.
in the back of my storage.
Oh, okay.
Someone gave
Interesting.
it to me, and I was just like, "Ooh, comic! Let's not destroy this one."
Well, awesome. All right. Well, we're now at your number three, so give it to me.
Black Widow,
That's
and
another. Which
she
one?
represents.
Which one?
I'm getting there.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just right on the edge of my seats.
So she represents my college years. And it would be the Tales of Suspense of 52. So April of 1964. So the comic series.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
So the creators of it were Stan Lee, Don Rico, and Don Heck. So her traits are intelligent, strategic, composed, emotionally complex,
Hmm.
college, trained in the Red Room, slowing her aging, fluent in multiple language. So the reason why she represents my college years is because she embodies control and chaos and mastering yourself amid pressure. College. Pretty much
I
what all there is to it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. It's funny. Have you ever seen the very first appearance of the Black Widow?
Yes. Are
It's
you
like,
talking about comic book wise? Or are you
yeah,
talking
comic book
about,
wise. No,
okay,
comic
yes,
book
comic
wise.
book wise, yes.
It's like, what the hell are they
Where'd
putting
she
her
come
in?
from?
It was like
Why
with
is she
the
here?
yeah, it's just
Yes.
it was crazy. It was crazy. But I did love
And
the
the
fact that
heels.
yeah, that she was always looking
Ugh.
for redemption, which they really got
Yes.
into in the movies,
Hmm.
especially Avengers Endgame, I guess it was. But my favorite, do you have a favorite scene from the movies of her? Or yeah, from any of the movies? Ah, see, I
I
picked on
honestly
this.
love the interaction she has with her sisters.
Oh yeah, okay.
Those are my favorite because that showed a different side of her and it showed that this is my past. You can come from it too.
Yeah. For
So
me,
that's my favorite.
it's the scene where she's on the phone and she's been tied to a chair with the Russian mafia, and she's talking. She's like, excuse me, let me finish my call. Yeah, I got him just about where I want him. It's just she's just so cool and so
Mhm.
badass. That's what I want to
What's
be like
really
when I
cool
grow
is
up.
they did amazing with her character and keeping her true to the comics
Yeah,
because those two line up perfectly.
yeah, and
There's some where they're hit and miss.
I love how they brought Yelena in there near the end to kind of take over for her because that's kind of how it happened in the comic books. So I love when they I don't want to say mirror, but where they follow the same paths to get to
Mhm.
the same end. So
But I also love the creative differences they have in it too, like the
hmm
creative directions where they go a different route.
yeah,
It's phenomenal as well.
yeah, awesome.
What
Okay,
you got?
well I got to come back with something strong then, and so I am going to pick Jen Walters as the She-Hulk.
Okay.
The
Which one?
the very first one.
Okay, cool.
Because I was also buying those comics at the time. And it's funny because that She-Hulk is very different from the comics that came later on. Um, in that comic, I don't know if you know, she is actually a public defender, and she is shot by um, mob enforcers who are trying to kill her client, who is gonna get up and testify against him. And Bruce, her cousin, happens to be there, and they're the same blood type, so he gives her an emergency transfusion, and then she becomes it. But the hilarious thing is that every time she would Hulk out, she always ended up wearing the same white little potato sack looking thing, and I'm like, you wear that everywhere underneath.
Undergarment.
I
Ladies have
know.
to have
I have
it.
to have them, but she's got the same one. It's like, come on. Um, but one of the reasons I really liked her is because she's incredibly intelligent, and sometimes they would go off in the rage, but most of the time she was able to control her rage
Mhm.
and used it for a force of good. Those original comics, they are so much fun because they had the weirdest villains. So like there was this one villain who was like made of like silly putty, and she goes to fight him, and she just like goes in, and oh, he can't get it. That was good. Then there was a guy who had a cybernetic elephant costume. Okay, but one of my favorite things that she ever did in the comics was she had her own graphic novel, and there was this creature who looked like a human and was made up of all of these bugs and stuff. And so it would go in and use it as skin. And at the very end, it was taking over a shield helipad, whatever it was called, carrier. And she went into the the place that had like the warp core, um, and brought him in, and they turned it all the way up. So she killed him. But she comes out and she's got bug guts all over her. And Wyatt Wingfoot was there. And he's like, "Did you get it?" "Yeah." "And I think I need a shower." And that was the point for a long time where she couldn't transform back
Mm.
because of all the radiation. She was stuck as She-Hulk for a long time. And then you had some amazing, amazing talent that came on, um, where she started breaking the fourth wall a lot, doing that same Deadpool thing that he does too. But more recently, she's been doing just like she was in the series, where she's like an attorney for super powered people, whether they're villains or. So a lot of people hate on the series, except for the Cardi B scene. I loved it. I mean, it was funny. It was irreverent. It was smart. But
Considering the time zone or the time frame that that series came out,
yeah,
we needed it.
yeah.
We needed it.
And I love the final episode
I
when
did
she
too.
goes to
When
fight
she's
Kevin. People
breaking
are like,
into the
"What a
studio.
cop out!" I'm like, "No, that's really cool." Kevin. Come on. But I really hope they bring her back in like the series or something because
Mhm.
they left it off. There was a lot more that could happen, especially with Scar. Scar, I think is
Yes.
called. So, well, all right. Well, that's my number three. And this is the part of the show where we're going to stop and find out what is the world of Kristen Bro
So
Johnson.
I recently got married October 19th to my Chance at Lamore, which is my chance at love. So technically he's my forever love now.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm slowly starting to pull him into Sci-Fi.
uh-huh. Whether we wanted to
So
or not.
oh yeah, for sure. Like he got his feet wet doing parades and everything. But no, he has to come to conventions now.
That's it. Bring him on.
So now we went from being 3 and 3 to 6.
Wow.
So
Did you
four
get a housewife? I
kids.
mean, a maid named Alice
No, I wish.
Brady Bunch. Sorry.
So three dogs, 4 kids now.
Wow.
Um, a man. We both work full time. I start for my bachelor's in January for
Look at you.
education.
Look at
Thank
you,
you. Oh,
man.
yeah. And then we have Sci-Fi in April. So married, Sci-Fi,
And I
4 kids,
cannot
and
wait for SciFicon.
I'm
I'm just
excited for it. It's gonna be a little change this year.
yeah, good. Well,
I believe
I'm interested to find out what that is, what the change is, how you're moving backwards to go forwards. So, is there a spoiler you can give us?
we're not gonna be like we were last year with our guest. We're gonna go a completely different route. However, one of the guests we've had in the past is a big key to the type of theme we're going with this year.
Uh, okay, be a little more oblique about it, but that's fine. Just don't tell me.
Doug Jones. He
I love Doug
fits a
Jones.
lot of different categories,
Yes, he
but he
does.
fits in a category that people have been wanting to see.
Uh-huh. Wow, he's so cool. I've met him a couple of times, and I remember my oldest daughter Abby met him, and she was one of those times back then you'd have to pay for photos.
Mhm.
And so they were going to take a photo together, and she was like standing next to him. He literally like wrapped his arms and one leg around her like she was a pole, and was like smile. And then later on, she was watching Buffy, and of course, he's one of the gentlemen.
Mhm.
But God, we've seen him in so many things.
I
Um,
don't know.
I will probably have to swing by and say hello again.
He's not going to be at our convention this year, but the
Oh,
genre that he fits is one of
okay.
the genres we're having this year that
Uh,
nobody knows the genre yet.
okay. Well, you
So
know it.
Doug Jones, yes, I do, but
You
he
could
fits
tell
in.
us.
I could, but I can't
How about
because we
how
have.
about this? Whisper it to me. Just me. Just tell me.
I'll
Okay.
give you a
No.
hint. Another hint. You ready?
Yeah.
The season for it just passed in October.
Uh, winter solstice.
No.
No, no, no. That's this month. All right. Well, I'll figure it out. And you've already got my request for two panels, so
Correct.
I am super excited about that. I'm actually trying to get a couple of Lake Charles people who've never been on panels before to come in and do it because I would love to have theirs. But I've had such a great time doing panels there because the people that come in are always very I don't want to say respectful, but respectful of what we're talking about,
Mhm.
and they always have good things. They'll ask questions, and I learn things from them too because I'm 55 with the Santa bod, and I mean you've got these the 18, 19, 16-year-old people who are saying things, and I'm like, what are they saying? And then I'll have people like Lily. Not my daughter. Well, my daughter too, but Lily G, who goes to all of them, she'll like whisper in my ear what she'll like translate for me.
Mm.
So I enjoy it, but I
She
can't
did
wait.
that whenever you did the podcast, the Romance Gone Wrong podcast that Cypher on last year.
Yeah, yeah, that was it. So now I learned that if somebody says something and my answer is yes, I can just say bet. Well, all right. If yeah, anything else you want to share?
Mm. We will be having a local convention in Lake Charles that we will be starting to advertise for. Yep.
Okay.
Not SciFicon, but just a little pop-up convention.
Yeah.
I just got information about it today, so I don't know
Oh,
everything. And then I will be at LouisianaCon in Lafayette in March.
and I'll see you there.
So
We'll probably be
um,
next to each other because we always.
hopefully, so I can
Yeah.
harass you.
Exactly. When is this pop up going to be? Like the
Um,
summer? Or...
it's in March too. I
Oh,
believe
it's in
it's 2 weeks.
March.
It's the same weekend as CoastCon. That's the weekend it
Oh,
is.
okay. Well, be sure to let me know because if there's a spot, I would love to come and support.
Yeah, for sure. I will happily pass it along.
Okay.
Garrett mentioned it to me. He put it in the chat and he's like, "Hey, I need someone." And I was like, "I'll do it unless you let me go to CoastCon." He's like, "You're not going to CoastCon." I was like, "Okay, I'm stuck in Lake Charles."
Garrett. Ah, Garrett.
But before we stop,
Okay. There it is. CypherCon. And what's the week? What's the dates?
April 10th, 11th, and 12th,
10th, 11th, 12th.
2026.
Yes, yes. And I'm going to have all of that information on your card at the end too. And you
Hey,
guys can go to links and, all the
QR code.
people. Yeah, a QR code and whatever it takes, an RC code. I don't know, whatever.
Mm.
Cool. Well, okay. So we are now at you ready? You ready? Penultimate uh, uh, choices. That means our number two, if you've never seen the show before. Um, Go ahead. Let me know who your second favorite female superhero is.
So I actually cosplayed as her on a whim and got a really bad wig that I
Oh,
regret to this day because it was a 90s mom's wig that did
okay.
not suit the cosplay, but it looked pretty decent with it. There's actually a picture of it. It's the one with me and the glass.
Okay.
And it's Scarlet Witch.
Oh, okay.
So
Which
she would
which one?
represent so the X-Men version, so X-Men number 4.
Oh, okay.
So
Awesome.
she would represent my young adult. And so
Okay.
she came out in March 1964. So the creators of it was Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Her
Mhm.
traits are emotional, passionate, powerful, and can alter reality with chaos magic. I love magic.
Yeah.
So fun fact is she's Magneto's daughter, twin to Quicksilver,
Mhm.
and she did a Marvel debut in Avengers Age of Ultron 2015, played by Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
So she represents my young adult years because she reflects the power of emotion and learning to harness it. Kids, trying to refine myself after kids and the divorce and what else can you say?
Yeah. I That's a great pick. One of the favorite things about the Scarlet Witch that a lot of people don't know is that her and Pierto, they are his Magneto's daughters, son and daughter, but that they were raised by a cow that the High Evolutionary had evolved. So I think they lived in a place called Wondergard or something like that for a while. And when they came out, they were villains at first, and then eventually they changed. But I do love how they've with the movies they've taken the scar in the series. That WandaVision series was awesome. They took so many chances with that show because like the first 3 or 4 episodes, you're like, what the hell am I
What
watching?
is this?
Yes, and I wanted to watch more. But she is such a. I do kind of got a little bummed out when they made her evil. Um, but
Mm,
because I started, it was really kind of hard to feel bad for her. Because she's all this death and destruction. But why couldn't you just find a universe where you died and your kids were still alive and go there, you know?
I'm opposite of that because if that was my children,
Uh-huh.
I would have fought to the end of the earth to make sure there was some time frame or time zone or whatever you want to call it, some realm where I
Yeah.
could be with my kids. So heck yeah, I would be an evil mom.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Is she didn't have to be an evil mom. She could have just
No,
used her
I
magic.
mm-mm.
No?
I would have chose evil. I would have chose
Okay.
evil to
Learning a lot about you
to
today.
fit to fit my reality in my realm
Huh?
for my children. So
Well,
I'm 100%. I get why she did it. She's
get it.
not crazy. She is not a bad mom. She is not a monster.
Except her children weren't real.
Well, grief does crazy things to you.
I'm not
You
going to
should
win this
have
argument.
my divorce. I did jet black dyed hair. They're my divorce.
Wow.
Black for
Mhm.
3 years solid.
Goth makes you look good.
Depression does that too.
So
What you
that is a
got?
great choice. I really like that.
What you got?
So my penultimate choice is almost was in my honorable mention because I'm kind of doing the same thing as Dolly, but except this woman really is a wonderful woman. And I am talking about who we've already talked about, but specifically, I am talking about Linda Carter as
Okay.
Wonder Woman on TV. You talk about picking the people from yours. The 70s were the absolute golden age to be a kid because not only did we have some super cartoons on Saturday mornings, but during the week we would have $6 Million Man, we'd have Bionic Woman, we'd have Wonder Woman, we'd have the Incredible Hulk,
Captain
all of these
Planet.
great. And
Captain Planet. Sorry.
no, that's fine,
It
exactly.
was in there.
And but for me, I think Linda Carter personifies everything that you were just
Mm.
saying. She is a fierce advocate for some different groups of people. Um, but she's also, and I'm just going to say it, she's freaking gorgeous. I mean, that woman, I don't think that woman has ever seen a Botox, has ever seen a scalpel. And I saw her the other day she was at some event or whatnot. And I was like, God, man, I'm 50, I'm not even, I'm just 20 years older than I am. And I never could look that good, especially in that red sequin dress. But anyway, um, she is just such, and she's had her own variety show for a while. Of course, she showed up in the Wonder Woman 84 movie. Um, and even I love the fact that DC now they have Batman. No, I'm sorry. They had, God, Wonder Woman 77, Batman 66. Yeah. And then they did a Batman 89. And wherever it was when she appeared, she looked exactly like Linda Carter. And for me, it's all about, like you were saying earlier, her core values. She has a moral compass that will not be bent. And I love, did you ever read or watch the Red Sun movie? So I loved how they did her character in that one. I really didn't like the Flashpoint version of her. Yeah, I just, I get it, but it wasn't me. But every time you see her, she is that same powerhouse. And there's been several comics, I mean, several cartoons where when she comes, she's like a kid. I mean, like I can remember watching one where she had her first ice cream cone and she was just, amazed by it. But her commanding performance really set the stage for women as powerful superheroes, you know. And interestingly enough, she was the third Wonder Woman because there was
Really?
actually a pilot that was back in the 60s. And then there was a Kathy Lee Crosby movie where she played Wonder Woman. Oh no, maybe I'm getting that wrong. Maybe she's the second. Yeah. But anyway, but she was by far the best Wonder
Oh
Woman
yeah,
ever.
for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. We are now going to get down. Now, this is the part of the show where all of the Hungarians are circled around the one little generator that is being hand cranked to power the laptop to hear our ultimate favorites. So, Kristen, lay it on me.
Storm.
Ugh, Aurora.
So she first appeared in the Giant Size X-Men #1, May 1975.
I remember that.
Creators of it was Lee Win and Dave Cockrum. Traits are regal, confident, empathetic, and in control of both her emotions and the weather.
And the
So
weather.
the fun, oh yeah, fun facts is she's one of the first major Black female superheroes.
Yes.
She's also the leader of the X-Men and former queen of Wakanda.
And leader of the Morlocks at one point, too,
Yeah,
when
for
she
sure.
didn't have powers.
Mm.
She's
So,
badass.
oh yeah, she is. So why she
Queen.
represents me? So why she represents me now is she embodies calm, power, confidence, grounded, and she's self-aware. I need more of that in my life.
Grounded because of the electrical. I got it. I got it. But don't we all
Cyclops,
need that? Okay.
for
What's your
sure.
what's your favorite look? Because I automatically know what my favorite look is.
Mm.
Hmm. I can give you mine real quick.
Are we talking about movie or comic book
Anyone
series?
whatsoever.
Movies.
Movies.
The whenever she crap, what's it called? When they did the reboot with
Hmm.
the X-Men,
First
so the
class.
newer X-Men's,
Yeah.
yes, that one.
Okay. For me, it's around 170 of the comics, 170, 180, when she had that white mohawk and she
And the
would wear a little leather
sunglasses.
jacket and stuff like that.
And
I
she wore
just,
the sunglasses.
uh-huh. She was
I know which
just,
one you're talking about.
God, that was so badass. And when she lost her powers, so many people thought, oh, well, or, she's not, can't do it. She could still lead the X-Men. And then she got her powers back. So, and then she got Black Panther. So, you know, well, that is a great choice. It's not as good as mine, but that's okay
What you
because
got?
it's not a competition, but I would win. Um,
Hey, mine
so
represented my life. So if we're
that's
talking
true.
about
That's true.
creativity,
Yeah. So mine is a dark horse. And I think you're going to be surprised at who my number one is. It is Peggy Carter as Captain Carter. I absolutely went bonkers in the Scarlet Witch movie, the Doctor Strange and the da 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 da, when she came onto the screen because she had been in the cartoon, the What If cartoons, and I thought, oh God, that's so cool, to have okay, well, she steps in um, to protect him, and she gets the super serum, and but I also loved the TV series where after Steve Rogers was dead she still was going to fight the good fight, And I really hated that they canceled it after 2 seasons. They could have done so much more. But you talk about the perfect fusion of unwavering mortal compass and her superhuman ability. And she can't fly, she can't do all of these other things, but she takes on that role in her own way. So I love like how she had the little jetpack, and so when she could fly a little bit, and um, I I loved that scene, but I did think it was kind of a waste when Mr. Fantastic went with one word of come out of his mouth. Black Bolt can incinerate you. I'm like, why don't you just tell him what you're fixing to do? And then which was cool in itself, but I loved that, and I loved her. She had that journey, through the Captain America first movie. She was so badass. Um, and then she goes on and has her own experience, and the fact that um, she got Steve in the end, I just that made me so happy. Um, so anyway, like I said, she's fierce, she's loyal, she's brilliant, and refuses to be stepped on or looked over. So
She
I'm choosing.
represented the country. That was a key thing, is she had unending love for Steve and for America, and they put it into a hero.
Yep. Yep. So anyway, I thought it was kind of cool. I love too that they changed her shield because she was
Oh yeah, for
British,
sure.
and then they got the Union Jack on it, but she still had all the same. Have you ever seen the What If cartoon that she's in?
Which one?
It's the one where she first comes forward. Um, it was on Disney. They had a bunch of different
Yes,
episodes.
I've seen if it was on Disney then.
Yeah, okay. So because it's really cool because even though she gets the powers and everything, Steve ends up in a like Iron Man suit, but it's like a really big Iron Man suit. And so they still get to go and be like, superhero loves between. So
So like Warhawk
oh,
and what's the one? Not Warhawk. The X-Men couple. The
uh,
Angel. What are they called?
you mean you don't mean Rogue and Gambit.
Mm-mm, they're eagles.
They're evils.
They're eagles. I can't think of them. They're in the X-Men,
Evils.
not X-Men, Justice League.
Oh yeah, Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
That's what I was
Yes.
thinking of. It's like them.
Yeah. But and it's the thing is they're only together for a little while.
Hmm.
And then they have to end up dying and then finding each other all again. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, they're good. That's a good idea. We should do superhero power couples.
Oh, I would definitely be game for that because
All
I
right.
could pull Justin into it.
Mhm. There you go. So we're gonna do that. Because I loved this was so awesome. So I'm gonna get you to come back on the show and
For
we'll
sure.
do we'll do power couples. It was
Or
cool.
you can do siblings and like I can pull Crystal, whichever.
Whichever you want. You tell me. Let's start with power couples if you don't mind. Because I'm doing Crystal. She and I are doing. God, I've got so many. I've already made her list. But she's a EMT
Mm-mm. Paramedic.
paramedic. Okay, yeah. So I know she's got weird hours and too. So power
You were
couples.
telling me I've been trying to get breakfast with her. Sorry, I'm busy. Sorry, I'm busy. Sorry, I'm busy. You know what?
Well,
I'm busy too.
maybe you just need
Busy
to
with a
like
broken
fall out of a
heart.
tree. On her shift. Just saying.
I would have to go to way up to North Louisiana for that.
I had a friend of mine tell me a story yesterday. Scout. She's been on the show a bunch of
Mhm.
times. She would when she was working in a school, she was always one of the first people there. And on one day, this is like the beginning of the week, she goes in and the little Zamboni thing that cleans is like running on its own. And she's like, huh, that's kind of weird. And then she goes and she turns the corner and the janitor is laid out on the ground and he had had a heart attack. And so she's like, she does CPR and everything, and the EMTs, the paramedics come, and he's alive, and they take him off. And then the next day, okay, right in front of the school, right in front of her, there's a huge accident. And like one of the people's killed, and and like I said, she's a real go-getter, so she like gets the guy out, and the EMTs come again, and it's one of the same EMTs from yesterday. And then, like 2 days in the same week, 2 days later, she goes to the teacher's lounge and there's all of these treats. And she has a severe allergy to lemons. And she ends up
I
taking
like
one that,
her.
yeah, she didn't think it had a lemon in it. But as soon as she did, she realized. So she went down to the nurse's office because they have an EpiPen, and she was like, I'm gonna need that, and they inject her, and then the nurse says, well, you realize we're gonna have to call the paramedics because anytime we open this cabinet, and would
You
you
gotta keep
not,
it locked.
it was the same guy showed up, and he's like, I don't know why, but I figured it would be you this time, and I was like, that's the greatest story. So,
That sounds
well,
like the story of how Justin and I met, is the way
uh,
is what I'm hearing from you.
all right. Well, we can tell that one to me later, so you don't have to
Oh
share it.
yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to not only compile your list, but to do all of your research too. Because, girl, you knocked it out of the park. That was awesome.
Thank you.
And I also want to thank all of you out there in the podcast universe for listening to this episode of Fave 5 from Fans. We're thrilled that you joined us and hope you had a super time. Huh? Super, super. If you did enjoy the podcast, why don't you go to one of these places and give us a review. Give us a 5 star. Give us a thumbs up, you know? And like I tell people, if you didn't like it, it's fine. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I get that. But maybe
Neither am
tell
I.
somebody but maybe tell somebody that you don't like about the show, and then maybe you'll ruin their afternoon too. Just saying, you know. Connect with us on all of these social media platforms. Look at that. I even do Blue Sky. And come and join us for the show. And don't forget, we now have the Plastic Microphone Studios Network, where I have 3 other guys that come in and with their own shows. And now we're doing crossovers. So we're doing a new show called Sequel House, which has been a lot of fun, where we take a movie that didn't have a sequel and we workshop it and do an elevator pitch and have just a fun time doing it. So far, we've done District 9's sequel called District 10. And this month, our next episode will come out, which will be a sequel to the bad 1987 Masters of the Universe movie. I love you, Jeff. I love you, man. So we can't wait to share content with you guys. So find us, connect, do whatever you want. Just let us know. You can send us money if you want. I don't know how that would work, but you can do it. So okay, she's a new guest, so maybe she's gonna let me slide on this one. New episodes come out every Friday.
That's a Cyphercon joke.
One of
Sorry.
these days, I'm gonna get somebody. So they come out every Friday unless they don't. So be sure to subscribe and follow us so you can catch all the episodes. And if you're a YouTuber, we have our own channel there, and we've been putting out some clips and stuff there, and we're getting a little bit of traction. So go find us on YouTube and follow us there and give us a like and all of that good stuff. And remember, folks, it may not be the best. It may not be the most popular, but if it's your favorite, then that's good enough for us. Thanks so much for joining us. Kristin, take us out.
So once again, we did the podcast about the 5 favorite female superheroes. I did mine a version of what I've been through in life. So from Bubbles to Storm, each of these heroes can represent a chapter of your life, from innocence to independent to empowerment. Just be reminded that strength comes in forms of joy, resilience, intelligent emotions, and calm confidence.
You even wrote a summary. Wow. You're good, girl. You're coming back.
You.
Thank all of you. Catch you next time.